We raised $209,164 to build this 3D printable and aluminum robotic arm. And in this video, I'm gonna go over how you can build one, all the different stuff it can do, and I'm gonna show you the entire process of launching a Kickstarter and actually starting a company. Let's jump into it. What's up, you guys, and welcome back. Austin here. It's been a while. I know I've missed you. I've literally just been here the entire time, every day, all day, working on the 401 bot, and we're finally here together today. I get to take you on the journey of the last year, so let's roll it back. So in July of 2025, we officially launched the 401 bot on Kickstarter. It was a 3D printable and aluminum professional quality robotic arm that was finally available at an affordable price. And we got a total of 97 backers and raised $209,164, but a little more on that later. Here's what the product looked like at the time of the launch. It looks pretty sweet. See, our goal was to fill the gap in the marketplace between the really expensive industrial quality robots that all the big companies use and the super cheap, essentially useless robots that look like this, AKA we wanted to make something really high quality at an affordable price. Now, the robot that you saw there in the Kickstarter video, to be clear, that was just our prototype, and it was far from perfect. It would literally crash all the time. Sometimes it would crash into other stuff and break the other stuff, and sometimes it would crash into itself and just try and self-destruct. But it was just our prototype, and it was far from perfect, but it was good enough to raise a couple $100,000. However, I do have to note that the cost of that prototype was around $40,000 to $50,000. Yes, keep in mind, when you look at the thing, we see it obviously has some mechanical engineering and some manufacturing, but it also has an entire software development side to it that's just as important, if not maybe even more important. But we did it. The Kickstarter was technically successful, and from the outside, we're funded, right? Well, not quite. See, we didn't actually get the 97 orders or the $209,000, but we do still owe people a bunch of robots. Let's break that down. Now, obviously we're here at the beginning of March 2026. I have something in front of me that looks like a robot, kind of moves like a robot, I guess. The question is, does it work as well as we said it would in the Kickstarter? And we as a company going to be able to fulfill the Kickstarter orders that we have? Or do we burn all the cash and have nothing to show for it like the last 10 or so companies that have tried to launch robotic arms on Kickstarter? Let's peel back the curtain, starting with the 97 backers who pledged $209,164. For better or worse, here's the full story with radical transparency. So on August 21st, 2025, the Kickstarter campaign ends, and from the outside, you might think, oh, successful Kickstarter, you have 97 orders, and maybe in a moment you just get wired $209,164. Not quite. So first, after the Kickstarter campaign ends, you have to wait about 15 days, and then you receive what's called a backer report. Now, on this backer report, you see the actual amount of money that you made and the actual amount of backers who followed through with their pledges. Maybe you see where this is going. Remember, publicly, it says 97. Here's what it actually looked like. Yes, all those are canceled backers. There was exactly 50 of them. That's 50 people that backed the project and then pulled out at the last moment, or they paid with an expired credit card and their payment never actually went through. As the public, all you see is 97 backers, $209,000, but it's not actually the full story. In fact, it's closer to half of the story. You see, on Kickstarter, the platform doesn't actually collect the payments until the campaign is complete. So, for example, if you pledge on day one, like this guy, for $7,637, it won't actually charge you until the campaign is over, which is usually about 30 days later. And this allows a ton of people to come in, make a pledge, and then not follow through with it. With all that being said, this is exactly how much money we actually received from the Kickstarter campaign. This is straight from the bank account. $153,140.80. Now, there's lots of variables that go into that number. For example, some people had paid and then upgraded their pledges. Some people did things like add on a linear rail or other add-ons that were included in the campaign. And some people pledged maybe like $1 or $20 just to either support the project or to follow along. All right, so this box right here, this is about what $150,000 in robotics engineering looks like. Thank you. If you're lucky, this is a couple months of engineering CAD design, a few CNC prototypes, and maybe a little bit of software. I'm being slightly dramatic, but not really, especially with our office being here in New York City. The point is, launching a physical product like this costs a lot of money, and I want to keep that super transparent in case you yourself are thinking about launching a product. Now, at this point, you're probably thinking, hey, Austin, you're the dummy. This is all your fault. You could have just canceled the campaign, or hey, maybe not tried to make an advanced robotic arm for cheap. You should have known this. You should have known how much it was going to cost. And to that, you are right. And on behalf of myself and my drained 401k, I say, don't worry, I got you. I'm just joking. See, we kind of knew this was going to happen. I've been running the company here for about 5 or 6 years now. And to be clear, we did not just take on a massive uncalculated risk with a bunch of other people's money. That's not what was going on. See, the real plan, we saved up for a very long time and we had a budget allocated for this robot. Kickstarter for us was sort of used to contribute to the budget and to get some initial confirmed customers in the door. And it did just that. However, as much as I thought I over budgeted for it, there were definitely some unexpected things that came up. Did I mention that we spent about $11,000 alone just on pre-marketing? Yes, that's pre-marketing. That's before the campaign even went live. Wait till you see things like the legal fees, the patent fees, and the in-campaign marketing expenses. We're just getting started. Drama. So what happens next? At this point, the campaign ends and we finally get the payout and we have a super janky prototype. Yes, remember the one from the first Kickstarter video, but we do have roughly $153,000 more than we did a couple months ago. Oh yeah, except there was the pre-marketing expenses and the marketing expenses, which were about $11,000 and $8,000. So we're actually left with about $134,000 in revenue generated from the campaign after those expenses. Now keep in mind, the $134,000 does not include the cost to make the Kickstarter page. So things like the video, all of the assets, and of course, the biggest expense by far, which was the original 401 baht prototype. Now, we have $134,000 and we owe 57 robots, which it was at this point we knew, 57 robots is gonna cost more than $134,000. So we had officially lost money on the campaign. At this point, if we had not planned as a company, if we had not saved up enough, we would have been 100% screwed and we would have had to join the graveyard of all the other companies who have tried to launch robotic arms on Kickstarter. So what do we do next? Well, time to buckle down. You see, the goal at this point from an engineering and also a business standpoint becomes to make one single fully functioning unit. This was the period of extreme high stress, very little sleep, but rapid development on the robot. And frankly, this is just where it gets real. Like the clock had started, customers' credit cards had been charged, people were checking in, people thought that we had made way more money than we actually made, as you can now see. But most important, we owed people a product that we had promised. Now, to be safe, or what we thought was safe at the time, we set our product delivery date to be July of 2026. And all we had to do was to get the robot to carry a payload of 2 kilograms comfortably with a reach of 520 millimeters. So think arm fully extended, picks up a 2 kilogram weight, moves it around. And then, and this is where things get tricky, it needs to put that weight back down in the exact same place. And I mean like the exact same place, not like put it back in the circle kind of thing. I mean, put that weight back down within like 1/100th of an inch, same place. So we designed, we tested, we swapped parts, we scrapped parts, we tried a million different combinations, and then we just asked ChatGPT. No, I'm just kidding. I wish. We tried using AI for a few different simulations and calculations, and it was total shit. After months of testing and essentially just taking money and lighting it on fire with every revision to the design, we ended up with a working unit that passed the 2-kilogram payload and the precision and repeatability test. Huge milestone, but remember, this is just step 2 and the hard part actually hadn't even come yet.
Kind of trade war
in the form of tariffs.
Was 100% tariff.
Extra 50% tariff.
Tariffs on China and tariff.
And China will have about 155% tariff.
Now remember when I said, oh, we got you, don't worry, we weren't actually relying on the Kickstarter money to bring this product to life, not saved up enough. That was true up until all of our costs went up by 150%, literally 150%. Like, nobody, no company can even prepare for that. And that was the first time I actually thought, I don't know if we're gonna have enough money to make this product. I started doing the pen and paper calculations of how much money we were gonna lose if I had to just cancel the project and refund all the backers. Now, that being said, I was never gonna leave anyone just stranded, but the worst case scenario for us was project is canceled and everyone gets a refund. Side note, I had also just moved the business and my entire life from Canada to the USA. And at the time, the 2 countries that were, for lack of better words, the least favorite countries of the US were Canada and China. So my home country / the backup plan for robot production and the company and the country where the robots were getting made. There was just a crazy amount of stuff going on, and it just goes to show that sometimes you cannot prepare for everything. The moral of the story is that there was a time period during the production where we had no choice but to just eat the cost and pay a lot of money for the parts. Sometimes things come up that you'd never ever expect. So we placed what we thought would be our final order, and at that point, all there was to do was to wait until we got that final unit, build it, approve it, and then start production. Well, we opened a box of new parts, and unfortunately, there were a ton of errors. Things like missing threads, missing holes, missing features, tolerance issues, you name it. It was a disaster. Something had happened with our supplier during the whole tariff fiasco. Now, obviously, I don't know. It seems like a little switcheroo or something happened. But then the last domino fell, which was that one of our lead engineers got poached. I'm not gonna get into it. We're in New York City, super competitive workplace here. The job market is insane, especially with the tech and the AI companies. They are literally just throwing bags of cash at people. And frankly, our work here is super high stress and relatively low pay compared to some of those offers. So it just is what it is. We're left with a box of parts, a missing lead engineer, and we had to keep going. Oh yeah, and we had already blown the budget by like 3 or 4 times. But here's where things get good. So I bought this little CNC machine and I started to modify all of the parts. I started calling in favors I could from old shops and old clients that we work with. We got all of the parts modified and even some new ones made. And then we found a new supplier, and that supplier actually came all the way to New York City to review and to build a full robot with us. I think we got lucky and they were already in the USA, but whatever. We got the thing built together, and this way there was just no miscommunication, and the quality of the parts or the expectation of the quality of the parts was pretty straightforward. After that, they sent us a sample, and now we have this. And this thing is awesome. So essentially this here is the production unit, the golden sample, my baby. This is the 401 bot. And let's talk about everything that it does and the million upgrades that we made. Honestly, halfway through the project, we had already greatly overblown the budget. And instead of spending like countless hours and months trying to scrap little features and little parts of it and make it cheaper, we actually went the other way, and we kind of doubled down, and we ended up upgrading a ton of parts on the robot. This process, or at least by doing it that way, it was actually gonna take less time than trying to shave off $1 here or $1 there. So we ended up making a really, really great product. And if you're one of the 57 people who backed this project from the beginning, all of the upgrades are completely free to you. The only difference is that the cost of the robot after the campaign and everything is over will be increased, but not by that much. So we did still accomplish our goal of making a professional quality robot at an affordable price. But let me show you all the upgrades that we made now. We now have 2 PCBs. We have one in the robot and one in the control box, and this helped us to eliminate a lot of unnecessary wires. We also have a super clean and custom cable design. You can't see it on this robot, but the final cable assembly, most of the wires are completely hidden. Our J1 motor now has this special gear system that allows the wires to run directly through the base in the middle instead of coming out the sides of the robot, which also keeps things super clean. Our joint number 1 and joint number 4 motors, those are both upgraded to future-proof the design. The PCBs and the motor drivers are also upgraded to future-proof the design. Some of the parts that had rotating shafts, they were originally aluminum. Those have been upgraded to stainless steel because after hundreds or thousands of rotations, we found that the aluminum was degrading a little bit, which affected the precision. So those are now stainless steel, which is super expensive, but free upgrade. There's so many. We also increased the thickness of the aluminum in a few spots. We had a couple pieces that were originally going to be 3D printed that are now aluminum. We essentially just bulked up the entire design of the robot and future-proofed it so that in the future we can keep on improving the product without making our customers have to buy new hardware. I think it's really, really awesome, and I think you're going to love it. So, in summary, we launched a Kickstarter. It looked like we had raised $209,000. However, after cancellations and fees and ad spend, we actually received much less. We've been working on this thing for like 2 years now of super long days. We blew through all the money from the Kickstarter immediately, and then we got slapped by tariffs and global economic tensions. We then blew through even more money, lost a lead engineer, redesigned the robot for a second time, had to find a new supplier who kind of saved us by coming to New York. We then decided that instead of trying to reduce costs, which would add time and complexity, that we'd rather go the other way and actually increase costs, but make a way more capable product. And now we have this robot right here. This is a kick-ass robot. It is the 401 bot. It is even better than the original promise from the Kickstarter, and it's in production right now, and it should be shipping soon. The ultimate takeaways. Well, as a company, we won't know if this was a good or a bad investment for a while. It's been an absolute whirlwind of an experience. I think I personally aged like 20 years in the last 2 years. All that being said, now creating an advanced robotic arm is obviously a complicated endeavor. And this video honestly only probably covers like 10 or 20% of the process. There were also things like patents, legal work, certifications, the entire software development side. I could go on, but I really think that this robot here is gonna bridge the gap between extremely expensive robotics and the sort of cheap, useless ones. This robot right here is completely capable of automating small operations, which means that small and medium-sized businesses can remain competitive in today's marketplace. It's also completely programmable and customizable by anyone. Yes, anyone can build it and use it. You do not need to be an engineer or even have any technical experience to use this robot. The entire makerspace can use and create programs. They can share programs. We're making a program marketplace and library so that users can upload and download robot programs. And over the next few months, I'm gonna be making a series of videos here of me programming the robots to do a bunch of really cool stuff. And then anyone with a 401 bot can actually download those programs and run the exact same automations too. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're at. So if you were a backer of the campaign, thank you. There's a chance that we've already spoken personally. Your robotic arm will be shipping pretty soon, and we are still on time with our estimates from day one. And your 401 bot is gonna be way better than you were even expecting. I promise you're gonna love it. I have zero doubts. If you want one, if you're somehow still watching this video, you can still get one at a super discounted rate through the late pledge on Kickstarter. I'll leave a link below. It's never gonna be that cheap again. And yeah, if you have any recommendations or programs that you want to see me create with this robot, feel free to drop a comment below. Also, let me know if you like the style of this video. I used to make a lot of videos for YouTube, and I think there are still some makers who follow the channel. So hopefully it was cool to see the behind the scenes and the business side of Kickstarter and launching your product as well. So thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.